Dementia to me has many different facets. It's an illness, and that illness is an experience. It's an illness experience that's not only felt by the individual, but also their family and their community. As a Chinese person who grew up in a Western environment, I think that the illness experience tied to the Chinese community and Chinese culture is a very loaded topic. Chinese culture is very much, it's community-based. You have responsibility to yourself, you have responsibility to your family, you have responsibility to society in general. And everything that you do and your sense of responsibility and shame and guilt and how those words actually go into Chinese culture and how it's deeply rooted in that has a lot to do with the illness experience. And I think that it's so important for when people try to understand an illness experience for a person of Chinese descent or culture, that they understand that it comes with this general sense of family or community or society in general. I think that as a family physician, oftentimes one of the most challenging things that I see is that I feel like there isn't enough time as much as I want, right? And with dementia specifically, it is something that requires time and requires a relationship. And because there are so many people without a family physician now, it's very hard to develop that trust in that relationship before you give a difficult diagnosis. Especially for these chronic illnesses where it's so encompassing, it's a challenging journey that involves, the patient themselves, their family members, and and can have such wide effects. When my patients are crying and they're heartbroken, I'm really heartbroken too. And sorry, didn't expect it to go down that path. I feel like for people living with dementia, obviously from a very textbook point of view, everybody wants to know, is there a cure? Is there something you can do for me, doctor? And of course, as a physician, the reason why I went to medical school is I really wanted to help. I always want to help. I want to find ways that I'm able to support, this person. If I could, I would try and cure every single thing that I could. And if there's anything that drives me in the morning, and I tell patients in those hard conversations, is that there is hope and you are not alone. I think those are two very, very important things. I have young children, and oftentimes, almost all the time, in my wallet, there will be a Band-Aid. My daughter will oftentimes say, "Owie, mommy, I have an owie." And then the next thing she asks is, "Can we put a Band-Aid on it?" And sometimes I look and there's actually something, she hit herself, she has a bruise, but the Band-Aid's not gonna help, but sure, let's put the Band-Aid on. She likes stickers, it makes her feel better. They've got cartoons on it, it's very nice. But then that got me thinking, oftentimes one of the big challenges with a lot of illnesses that do not have an outward appearance is that sometimes we're not sensitive to it. Sometimes we brush it off. Sometimes it's hidden under the carpet. Sometimes you forget about it. And sometimes as the patient or the caregiver, it's just downright frustrating because no one else can see it. And so it's very frustrating. And so, this Band-Aid, it often reminds me, almost just like my children remind me when they put it on, that you have to take care of this area because to me, it hurts. I try to remind myself that, it's very tough for something that's drawn out and chronic. It's over many years, right? And it's not something that, like a broken bone, you can see the cast, or like an orthopedic surgeon, I can try and go in and fix overnight. There's a lot of ambiguity. In the early stage of a diagnosis, there may be years where you're like, I think this might be going on, but I'm not really sure, and I'm really scared. Or as you're going through it, you're still talking about years and years of living with an illness. And so I feel like something that I hold dear, and every time I see a Band-Aid, it reminds me that we should be aware of those things that we cannot see, but still hurts. And that is such an important part of this whole journey, right? It doesn't start with me, doesn't end with me. And we're all doing this because I think we want what's best for what's all around. And again, that comes with that Chinese sense of community, right? You're responsible for yourself, you're responsible for your family, you're responsible for your community, your society at large. What can you contribute?